but I just wanted to be able to check in and really get some feedback from all of you of just, what do you see already going well this year that you'd like to see us as a team do more of next year? And if you have any ideas, maybe you've heard from other teams or just things that you've thought up in your own head of things that you think would be helpful. Why don't we just leave that open a little bit, and then I've got several things written down that we can kind of just tie it all up. So does anybody want to open with anything that you feel has gone really well for our team or that you'd like to see us continue, whether it's something we did at a conference or at a team meeting or on a weekly basis, on a Facebook group, whatever it can be, from anything that comes to your mind.
I'll put my 2 cents in since I'm going to have to close. I think the huddle calls were just a highlight for sure, for all of us. So thanks for putting that there.
Yeah, absolutely. The huddle calls they've been incredible. I think that has been one of the best things for my business this year. Absolutely.
Yeah, mine too. What's funny is we've always had huddle calls, but everybody's only done them once a month. They haven't done them many times a week or several times a day.
Bye, everybody. Love
Bye, Dar.
Bye, Dar. Have a great
week. So I will be looking for volunteers. We'll continue that because it's like instant time blocked work sessions for people. And then you've got that support. So that's great.
You don't feel like you're working alone, because we all have our own businesses and we're all spread all over the country, but I don't feel like I'm alone. And every day I get to see, my teammates or sideline buddies from all over the country. And it just makes me feel like, well, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
And it's inspiring, every day. Like the other day I got on, Kristen was hosting the call. I couldn't be there for the huddle call, but I was like, because we were working on our house, and I'm like, but I don't want to miss out on that inspiration. If we start off every call with some inspiration, and so I wanted to be sure to be there for that.
That's awesome. Anything else come to people's mind that you're just saying, wow, I'd like to see more of this starting in the new decade, something already happening on the team? I know I'm just like pulling this on you, so it might be something that comes to you and you can send a Voxer or something later. But
Susie, I was able to be a part of a Facebook event that Kit Landemaker had done. But she's not on our team, but we love her, and she's been an awesome inspiration for me as well. So one team, one mission, right?
Yeah.
But I was able to be a part of that Facebook event, and I think in May or June, some of us that had done the boot camp did we tried to do like Facebook watch parties, like as a group. And I thought that was really fun, and it was nice to like not have to do it alone, to know that somebody else was going to be doing stuff as well. Especially like a big event like that where it can be overwhelming, especially if you're like a new partner and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this whole thing by myself. So I thought that was kind of fun. And also it was nice when we did, I forget which watch party it was, but people were asking questions, and one of the veteran partners was answering the questions when I didn't know the answers. So that was kind of nice. Somebody else had my back, and it was just kind of that third party validation as well. So I would be interested in doing some more of that, like social media type events as a group. It kind of takes the stress out of having to do it by yourself, and it's kind of fun to do it as a group.
You bet. That's great feedback. I appreciate it. And that goes right along with launch calls. We could do those consistently. Go ahead, Jen.
Stated what watch party is. Does it mean you're live and you can just hit watch?
You can go live and make it a watch party, or you can just pick like a certain video, like the one we did. I think it was on Omega's. I think Dr. Mitra was doing like a little 15-minute thing on JP Live TV. So I started the watch party, and everybody else kind of jumped on. And we didn't have to be live, obviously, but we were just there watching it live. And then another time.
But wait a minute. Does that mean that everybody that you're friends with on Facebook will see it running on your page?
Yeah, it'll pop up on your thing and say, Jen is having a watch party. And you can invite people to the watch party too, like before it starts. When you say, I'm going to show this video and I'm going to do a watch party, then you can invite people.
Okay.
So
It has to be the video that you choose, though. If you're not going live, it has to have been on Facebook. You can't like bring something from YouTube. It has to be something that was either initially published on Facebook or was done live.
Or something you put on Facebook. Like if you did a video and you uploaded it to Facebook, then you could do a watch party.
Okay.
It's just another creative way to use your Facebook page along the same lines, but something that we would invite people to and then give them the number like this to Zoom, or doing the launch calls. And I did a lot more of those in the beginning of the year. And there's a whole script for it. Anybody can do them. I've done them with a rep and just one new person. I've done them where the screen is full of people, and we've always had really good response. So I'm not sure why I kind of got out of the habit of that, but it would be kind of fun to, you know, say we're going to do one of those every month or every other month. And then we just pick, usually there are like 3 of us, and we just kind of divvy up who's going to say what. And then you have a variety of stories that are shared. But I've always had people decide they want to, you know, be part of the company or get some product or something. So, and that's talking specifically about Juice Plus. It's not like a value added that we're doing some health event. We are telling them about Juice Plus. And that would be great for newer people too, because it's just like Bobby sharing, then you don't feel alone. You don't like, oh, I don't know how to answer those questions, that we're all on there. Okay. I wrote that down. That's great feedback.
I just
Does
want to
anybody
say
have something else they can share?
Jake had asked me at one point if I would maybe be willing to like share my knowledge, my limited knowledge of Facebook Live and watch parties. And I'm totally down to do that if anybody wants to like jump on a Zoom call and I can like share, like here, do this, do that. It's usually pretty simple, but at first, like it was really like, oh, what am I doing? I don't know anything about this. But then, you know, once you've done it a couple times, it's like, oh, this is easy as pie. So
I would like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea because, I mean, each one of us kind of becomes experts with different areas. And the same thing we've always talked about, you know, the vast majority of us use Team Z, but we use Team Z in different areas. And maybe down the road we can do, like you're saying, same thing is each one of us share a little bit about how we use Team Z, which will give other people ideas of good ways to use it.
Another thing that I think that we just started doing this in December, and I think that this could be really effective, is doing satellite events. So if you're hosting an event in your home, we can do it live through Zoom, and everybody can host one. So Michaela Peterson started doing this with Salinated Jar events. So she would host one somewhere, and then one of her teammates would host one in another place, and she would give a little presentation while everyone was eating a salad, and then after the presentation, then everybody would make their salads in a jar. And then that's extended on to her Pure Hope Foundation, the Your Health for Hope presentation that she does. And I think that that's just really brilliant. If we can do more of things like that, we're going to be able to really, really change people's lives that way.
What'd you do? Just like if she was talking, you would just pull a Zoom up on your TV with people in your house?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you would host an event just as if we were hosting an event. You would invite people to your home, and then we would say, okay, we're going to start it at 7 o'clock. And so you would start yours earlier than that so that you could do a little presentation about, you know, you could introduce what's going on, introduce yourself. And then I would also recommend having any kind of stories that you wanted to have, you know, have your own people tell their own stories too, because stories is what really matters to people. And then you would live stream the Zoom into your home and then finish it off with whatever you want to say.
Nice.
I think What we are seeing though across with everybody is, people, like she's saying, doing, whether it's salad in the jar, or I still love that program that Jake and Bobby and Michaela did. I would really like to offer that. But no matter what we're doing, we still have to make the focus that we're getting information in people's hands, the whole story about Juice Plus, where they're hearing at least one or two people's stories about it, and then they're getting the details and the facts about it. Because sometimes we get so busy into trying to look like, oh, we're giving you, let's make energy balls, let's do soup in a jar, let's do whatever. But then there's absolutely no Juice Plus information. And I've done it both ways. I mean, I've had a lot of different events, and sometimes I say, oh, that's going to be it depends on the group of people. Sometimes I feel like that's going to be my relationship builder because I've never invited them to anything else. And then other times, but what we noticed is you do want people coming to your home. If you're putting all the time into having somebody come for something, it's okay. You don't want them just to come to your home time after time and you work yourself like a dog to do, something in a jar. And then we never get out what we're really about, because ultimately the best way you're going to help them is getting the Juice Plus information in their hands. So it's walking that fine line, because you want them to trust you, that you want them to know what you're all about. But at the same time, it's not so much how many people you have come over, but if they know that you're going to talk about Juice Plus, they've already readied their minds for that. Then it's not like, oh, you said we're coming here for this jar event, but now you're talking, it's okay, even on your events or whatever, just to say, yeah, my company sponsors this, this is sponsored by Juice Plus, put Juice Plus in there somewhere. So it's not, and a lot of times I'll start it and I'll just say, hey, this is the reason we like to do these jar events. This is really personal to me. Can I have a few minutes of your time? I'd love to share my story. And everybody is captive, and they always say yes. And then I can just share my whole trek about getting into Juice Plus and then adding more whole foods and et cetera, et cetera. But I always tie it up with, this is great. You're going to go home with some jars and you're going to have all these great plant foods, but that's not what we have every day. And that's why I rely on my Juice Plus. Each day, every day, I'm getting these 30 different fruits and vegetables in my body and my children's body, my grandchild's body. So there's different ways that you can do that, but we also don't want to dance around it so much that we look embarrassed to talk about something that's so awesome. Right. I mean, I think of it as something so small as some people, they all show up with different jars at my house. Sometimes somebody might have some that are a light purple, and everybody's, and she's saying, oh, well, I got these at, blah, blah, blah at the hardware store, and somebody else, well, I got these squatty ones. They're not embarrassed to talk about where they got their jars, right? I mean, it sounds so silly, but why would we be embarrassed to talk about something as awesome as Juice Plus? And it's us holding us back. It's because we have that little voice in our head, oh, they're going to think I'm selling them something.
Well, and you can also,
what?
As you start out, you can also say, I truly believe that when we know of something that can be of benefit to somebody else, we have to share it. It's an obligation that I have to share this with you. What you choose to do with that information, it's completely up to you. But this is why this is why we're here today, because somebody was brave enough to share this with me. And then I was inspired, and I want to be able to provide some of these events. But, perhaps of someone who could also benefit like I have.
Yeah. And if any of you follow somebody like Ashley Hudson, she is unapologetic about sharing things that she believes in. She shares her faith unapologetically. She shares her Juice Plus journey apologetically. She shares her eating disorder unapologetically. And you just know it's coming through to her. She's sharing that because that's what she's about. That's her why. That's her big thing.
And her passion shows through so strongly. Sorry.
What's Ashley's last name again?
Hudson.
Okay.
Yep.
I love where you're going with this, and it's kind of interesting because in the job that I just left, one of my kind of fundamental issues was that the way that similar to Juice Plus, the way that Dream Dinners built customers was to host events, but she took it so far as to give away gift baskets. And there would be an auction, and we've all been to silent auctions, and you bid on something and whatnot. And so, I mean, I even attended a women's forum last week where she donated a basket, and the basket is a complimentary introductory offer, which is an $87.99 value, and then a party for all of your friends. Well, the party is designed to, so you think you've won a free party, right? Appetizers and wine and all kinds of stuff. Are you okay, Jake? And so she, of course, your big screen, right, when that happens. But anyway, then she would bring people into the store, and they would get a sales pitch. So whoever gives them the basket, you won a free party, $250 value, and they bid on the party. So customers would say, I didn't win a free party, I bought a party, right? Because they've often, like, maybe if it says $250 value and they maybe paid $225 for it for their organization. So they really truly have, anyway. So my issue that I had was we promoted a free party, but yeah, that was our means of advertising. That was our means of building our business. So my job when they came into the store was to get them really excited about Juice Plus. But if they thought they were there for something free, it was a bait and a switch, right? And so when I took over the business development component, I got over that kind of like moral compass for myself by saying, like, hey, I would let the hostess know, like when they would call and say, I'm calling to redeem this free basket that I won, or this prize that I bought, I would say, awesome. And I would just put it right out there and say, we're super excited, congratulations, you're gonna have a great time, same with our parties. And we're super excited to share the concepts of Dream Dinners with you. And our mission is to help this many more families, blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of put right out there that let's make no mistake. This is a phenomenal value that you won, but the value is not only the party, but in our opportunity to share with you the mission of our organization, inspire you to have more family time, blah, blah, blah. So I kind of think Jen and I have been talking about this whole, whatever, and I've been super struggling with doing a shred. I want to inspire healthy living. I want those orders, if I have this jar party and I say, like, my neighbor, I have 2 or 3 people that are customers and they're doing the shred thing and they want a successful shred, but then my neighbor says, can I come? They're just at different places. So I've been struggling with how to do that. So this is great. And back to your question, Susie, I think having the opportunities to mind melt on these calls is so helpful, because I feel like I have a strong action item as a follow-up, because I think my answer to having people all over the board is to say, I have some friends that have said, I'm going to watch you do this Juice Plus thing. I'm all in for the jar party, but I'm going to watch you do this Juice Plus thing for a while. So I want them to feel included. So I feel like I want to do my first jar party. And so you can tell why I've been inhibited to do it, because I can't figure it out in my head what my strategy is. But to be able to say, and I have this outline that I started on a huddle call earlier, whatever day it is, but to say, it is part of my Juice Plus life, this party, this meal, whatever, it is part of my business. And most of us are doing this because we're preparing for a shred, or most of us are doing this as part of a strategy to eat really healthy this week, and so join us for whatever reason you want to, but do know, like, I'm not saying that my friend that is never going to order Juice Plus for whatever reason isn't welcome, but just know that that's the environment that you're walking into. And that way, if the conversation goes heavy Juice Plus, I don't feel salesy or guilty. You know what I mean? So I think you're kind of onto something with that. It's starting to click in my head, Susie.
I think as long as you share genuinely from your heart of just saying, I have something that I know is so awesome. It's just like Jake was saying, I have to share it. And Eric Johnson always teaches us, it's okay, even if your best friend doesn't want to be on Juice Plus, but you want your best friend to be an advocate for you. Yeah. And so when she is there and she sees you and you're sharing passionately and she sees how happy you are about it, how passionate you are, even if she thinks in her head, that's not for me, she's going to cheer you on. And when she sees somebody that has an issue, she's going to go, oh my gosh, I bet you'd love to talk to my friend Kirsten. So yeah, I wouldn't pick and choose people that, well, I'm going to invite this person because I think they would buy, or these people are all at the same point. Let them be. It always amazes me, even when I go to conference too. I've had different people that I think, ooh, I'm trying to organize people to be in roommates or something, and the people I least think would connect will connect as roommates or will hang out at the conference. So it's not up for us. We just need to be us. Unapologetically us, that we're excited to be part of this. And you're not there saying you really should sign on the dotted line, you suck as a parent if you don't do this. We're not like that, right? So we're not going to make anybody feel uncomfortable. They're going to be excited. They should leave when they're done going, wow, she's really into that Juice Plus stuff, and really that's what I got off. I couldn't wait to get off the phone with my sponsor, Cheryl Boudreau. She talked me to death, and I didn't know her, but there was something about her I wanted to keep listening, and got me to the point that I'd listened to those cassette tapes. Yes, because it was so long ago. But thank God I did. And it's only because she was passionate. She was never pushy. But she just was so excited, to share about those Juice Plus powders. Okay, well, let's keep going. Are there any other thing? I'm writing these things down because I want to make sure we keep doing things that people are finding helpful. And then, is this a good time that I can throw out a few ideas that I have as new ideas, or I don't want to cut anybody off if you have something else helpful that's happened in 2019 that you wanted to share?
Well, what I've valued, this is only we're 3 months, so I don't know that ask me next year, right? But the efficiencies, I think being able to have, the huddle calls are invaluable to me. I totally agree. And, there's just, yesterday Kevin came home and, overnight was kind of like changing of the guards and, so this is, getting me refocused and recharged and whatnot, something that really inspires me. It's also nice too. I love telling people about our calls because it's kind of like you miss when you work from home. I've tried it before, and when you work from home, you are responsible for your own time and so forth. And I think that this is an accountability component, and it's a cube mate component too. Like when I worked in an office every day, water cooler talk is important. Water cooler talk can be distracting, so this is our opportunity to kind of time limit. I like when you limit the times, but it's for sure comforting and inspiring to know that we're not alone. It's, for me, I have heard the thing, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times to sink in. Third-party calls, efficiencies, don't reinvent the wheel. So I think there's dangers and pitfalls. And I don't know if there's teams out there that do more calls, less calls, or whatever, but to just be able, so I would say a theme of efficiencies. So Susie, like as we reach out to you during the months and days and weeks between calls, and if you start to notice that Facebook events or something like that are a common thing, having, leaning on us to say, Bobby does that really well. I would have, Bobby take half of the call. Or when you shared the Team Z, gosh, our team would rock if I actually sat down and did everything I wrote down in this journal as an outcome of those calls. And so just those opportunities to be efficient and allow us to kind of share what we're doing so that we can say, uh-oh, or, then be able to kind of make a note. I get notes from Ron after the call sometimes that says, here's a link to this that you mentioned that you needed. Have you thought about going to this conference? You know what I mean? So it's just really, I think, better than an office environment to be able to get together and have these calls and have our huddle calls throughout the week. And so if you want to put some structure to them, so you feel like it's more measurable or something, great. But I think it's been working extremely well for me personally.
Awesome. Well, and that's important that I'm hearing from somebody, I'm hearing the same thing from people who've been in for over a decade, and I'm hearing it from you, Kirsten, 3 months. So that's awesome. We're definitely going to keep doing the huddle calls, except I will send out a monthly schedule. Like I think what I'm going to do is drop like a physical calendar where people can see it's posted. And the huddle calls are for anybody to lead. And I really, even, you know, newer people on this call today are Bobby and Kirsten, and they jumped right in and led huddle calls. And I love that you girls just stepped up as leaders immediately on the team and said, heck yeah, you know, I can share 5 minutes of inspiration and be there on my time block. And that's been awesome. So we're going to be doing that because it gives us those instant work blocks. Then regarding team meetings, I'm still perfecting this. I told you I paid a lot of money for this Darren Hardy course. Darren Hardy, to me, is just one of the best for helping you to move forward and actually create good healthy habits. So if you haven't read his book, I'd recommend that. I'd also recommend that you go to Facebook and sign up for Darren Hardy. It's Darren with 2 R's, Darren, Hardy, like hard candy. And the other thing you can do is even go to his website, and you can have come into your email every day. He sends you a video called the Darren Daily, and they're less than 5 minutes long, but they're always a punch in the arm to just, you know, why you want to get up and get moving and doing what you need to do. Something interesting that he does is you would not be able to save one of those and say, oh, I'm going to do a call, you know, next week, or I'm going to lead a huddle call and I'm going to share this. It's like they disappear after 72 hours because he's always putting that immediacy on you, because it's easy. We'll say, oh, and I've done this. I've got a lot of emails in my box, and I'll think, oh, I'll get to those. I'll listen to those videos when I have time. He says, no, this is creating a habit. You start your day with that 5 minutes or less shot in the arm from him, and you just do it. And you just get used to that. You just always click on that and you do it because it expires within 72 hours. So I do recommend that everybody go to his site. It's free, and sign up for that. And then also get his notifications. He has a lot of great memes and ideas and things on his. But when I'm looking at, I did buy his Insane Productivity, and you guys really seem to enjoy where I just streamed it into the team meeting when we did Eric Johnson's course that I bought on converting conversations. The only thing with Darren Hardy's is they're all about 45 minutes to an hour that I can tell. I think that could get a little long. So help me on that. I don't know if maybe we do that as a separate thing for people, because the course really is for people who truly, truly want to be super productive. And so I don't want to scare a teammate away that just wants to come in and plug into what we're doing and then feeling like, oh, they're expecting me to do, you know, XYZ every day. But I don't want to always give you one more thing to do either. So I'm just trying to balance, like, are there enough people that say, I want to kick off on 2020 and just be insanely productive? Or is it too much? I don't know. I'll have to put that out to the team and see what kind of feedback I get on that. The other thing is, I was thinking, if we had a group of people who were doing the videos weekly of watching Darren Hardy, maybe we could feature that person and they could just do like a 10 or 15 minute blurb of what they learned or how they put that into practice of their business. And maybe that would make somebody excited to look more at that. The other thing is, I want to feature more of you. And so we talk and talk every year how we're going to collect all these stories. I would like to, at least once or twice a month, feature a story, a product story, and then we could do your business story a different time. I think that would be great. And also, Wendy Campbell is talking so much lately, and Jake has brought this up she's reading the Simon Sinek book of All About It Starts With Why. But Wendy Campbell's talking a lot of NMD Hotline that, again, we have to get back to the why, and that she started with the 30 reasons why she loves her Juice Plus business, and she compiled this list from, there you go, and she compiled her list from a bunch of reps, and kind of like, these are the top 30 reasons why people choose to do a Juice Plus business. And so I thought it might be kind of cool just to be reminded throughout the year, is also during a meeting, that person might only talk 1 minute. It just depends. They might talk 2 or 3 minutes. But wouldn't it be cool to hear each person's why? Do you know, if you look at this screen of people here, do you know their product story? Do you know their business story? And do you know why they get up and do this each day? And I started even looking at people that I thought I knew very well, but I thought, I don't know for sure if I could say, what that person would say. So those are some ideas that it will just take participation. Sometimes I get set up to do this and I have people, they just like, they get too scared and they want to shut down. So no matter what that person shares, I think we just need to encourage them and let them know, because it's easier for some people than others to peep up, and some people are going to choose to be quiet, or they might process things differently. The other thing that I have to offer is I guess a second cousin. Anyway, I will tell you up front, she is a relation to me. She lives in Colorado, but she is a certified personal coach. Now, there are a lot of people out there, because she puts a lot of things on her site, like beware. There's so many people now that can say they're a coach for this or that, but she's been through all the education, all the certifications and all that stuff. And she'd offered to me quite a while ago, she does a whole course. Well, she did it person to person in her town, but she said she could do it virtually for my team on vision boarding. And that if we would like her to come in with her perspective on how to do a vision board from a personal coach perspective, and she would just tell us ahead of time, she wouldn't be able to provide all that. And there might be like a $5 fee or something. But I thought that was a really nice offer. And then she would also invite all of you into her personal coaching page. You could, whatever you like to get off of that. So that would be something, if we're going to do it, I think it'd be cool to do in January. And I have some people I know on the team that are great about vision boarding. And I'm one of those people that I always say, I want to do a vision board, but I've never done one. So those are my notes I wrote down. So I am totally open to feedback. So if any of that hit a note that you go, yes, or if any of that you're like, I totally disagree, I'm open to that. Just talk. Go ahead, Jim.
Usually part of the Pajama Regional is doing vision boards in the evening. Would that be a time we could all, even wherever we're at, come together and do that? Or
it's just never worked time-wise for me. I haven't done the vision boards here in North Carolina. It almost feels like it's too much. Like we get done Friday night, we're so hyped up because their speakers on Friday are so good, and everybody wants to talk about that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You guys let me know if you've done vision boards right after that. I know teams do that.
I feel like we did a long time ago, but I don't know.
If you're going to do them, it's going to take prep work in advance. You're not going to be able to do them just that night in an hour.
To me, it just felt like a bunch of people talking and cutting out pictures. That's what I like about having Jamie Anderson is her name. If Jamie could come in and really give us some direction of, okay, you're not just thrumming through. She would have things that she'd want you to prepare ahead of time. It's just not about looking through magazines hoping that you're going to run into something. It's much more thought out.
Gotcha.
You're muted, Bobby.
There we go. I think Eric Johnson talked about making a vision board in the boot camp, in the Teamsy boot camp. That's one thing I never did, because he just mentioned it briefly and cutting out pictures. And I went online to check it out, and then I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I'm wasting my time. So I just never did it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would definitely be interested in seeing what it's about and understanding it. I know I have several friends that have some up. I've seen them in their workspace and in their kitchen. So, I mean, I'd definitely be interested in checking it out and seeing what it's about.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let me get back with Jamie. It's been a really long time. I dropped the ball on that. I got a message here.
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
And then I just ask that you give me a little grace through the year. I want to switch things up. I really want it to be the best for each of us. So don't lock me into something. If we start something and we just find that it's not flying, sometimes we just need to tweak it and we just keep improving. And I think you all are pretty good about just understanding that during the year. What else do I want to tell you? And then I guess my only other thing is, we'll have all this goodness. We want more people to be able to join in that. So what can each of us do to start? I know the timing is a problem. I mean, like, look at, we've got Laura here today. We have so many people that work full time, but they can't attend these meetings unless they're off, like Laura is on Christmas break right now. You know, and Bobby, I know that can hit you sometimes too if you have court or you know, to come home. But we're never going to be able to have a meeting time that hits everybody. So I'm just not quite sure how to handle it, because I hate to take another evening from anybody. It's easy for all of us to say because we're on the line and we're able to come here during the day, but be thinking, what could we do, or with a meeting time, that we would be able to be more inclusive so that more people, we'd be able to get to know more people. There are a lot of people very active on the team, but you never see them on the team call because they're working. So I just don't want you to miss out on the goodness of that, because we have some amazing people on our team. So, any feedback?
I agree, Susie. I think maybe even some sort of a survey, or yeah, I mean, that sounds really dumb, but you know, like, just letting know, like, would there be, is there a time that, I mean, do some people just not need this? You know, some people just don't need the connection. Great. But if there's a time that works better, I'm totally happy. I mean, to designate, you know, Tuesday nights as, Tuesday nights this hour, Saturday mornings this hour. Like, I think it's super important, and the more people that we can learn from, the better. So I think looking at that is a really good idea.
Awesome. Does
All right,
anybody think it would ever be a good idea that, I just don't want to cause confusion, but I thought, what if we flip-flopped it ever, where one week we did a daytime and the next week we did, or the first half of the month we do daytimes and the second half of the month we do 2 night times or something like that. I always wonder if that would work, or if that would just, if people would just be confused. I don't know. Nobody knows.
I'll just say my schedule's crazy. Sometimes I think I'm going to be able to get on the call, and then I get called to court, or, you know, something happens. Whenever it is, if I can be there, I'll be there. If I can log in, I'll log in. I don't know. I feel like sometimes, because with my job, I have some other responsibilities. I try to plan things, well, specifically for car seat stuff, because I'm a car seat technician, and I always have people say, oh, well, this day will be better, so I change it to that day, and still nobody shows up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I think if it's a priority to be on the call, then you'll be on the call. If it's not a priority, and I know some people work, obviously it's Monday morning, so if you have a regular a job with banker's hours, Monday morning is probably not going to work for you. But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents. I've tried to plan things around people before, and it's, if they want to be there, if they want to be there, they'll be there, and if they're not able to, they're not able to.
That's my only concern. I've put surveys out on the team, and then I'll switch the time, and then I'll expect all those people who told me they were going to show up, that they would come to majority of the meetings, but then they don't come. So I don't know.
The other great thing is that Jake always records them and puts them on Facebook, usually within 1 or 2 days. So if it is your priority to be there and you're not able to be there, then you'll make it a priority to get on Facebook and watch the recording later. I know it's not the same as being live, but if it's your number 2, then it's your number 2.
I think it's just going to be as we bring people in, as we work with people, we just have to keep reminding them, hey, come to team meeting. Does that attract you to do an evening or after work all day, Laura? What would you feel about that?
Susie, honestly, I love getting on the calls when obviously I'm not in school, which is only on holiday breaks in the summertime. But, going back to what Bobby said, they are recorded. So I'm like, I can still plug in and watch them, because, I don't I'm with you. Like, I don't want to take anybody's evening away because that works better for me, you know? And then I do like the thought of, well, if we would switch it up, you know, and do some evening, but then I think it is confusing as well, you know, oh, what is today? Is it the, you know, like the third week of every month, the third and fourth week we do evening calls or something? Well, then you got to think, okay, is this the third week of the month? Is, you know, I mean, I think it would be confusing to some as well. But as long as they're recorded, I can plug in, and I know by all means how to get a hold of all of you if, you know, I needed something. I'm really looking forward to getting back involved in 2020 and seeing where it goes. 2019 has just been crazy. So
Yep, we're all looking forward to this new decade. Well, I appreciate that feedback. That's awesome. Well, hey, I'm going to let you all go.
Let me give you my 2 cents before you
Okay,
conclude.
go, baby.
So a lot of times, and again, I just relate it to the old corporate world, and I do agree. To me, it just needs to be consistent, and the majority rules. When we see that we're getting great attendance, like at this time, I mean, it should be consistent. Everybody knows it's always going to be, you know, Mondays at 10 or Mondays at 11 for us. I've always looked at, because the meetings that I've always had weekly have always been either at the beginning of the week or at the end of the week, based on what your meeting is about. I think our meetings are much more about motivating each other for the week, versus a lot of meetings that I've had at the end of the week are result oriented, where you're reporting on how you did with something that week. Which I don't think we do that as much. So I think it's a great idea to have it at the beginning of the week, because it's much more motivating, or setting our sights for what we want to do that week. So that's my 2 cents.
Okay. Thanks for paying up, Bunny. All right. Well, I don't have anybody signed up for huddle calls today or tomorrow. So if that's something somebody really wants to do, feel free to put that out. Please be looking out, though. I will be sending messages. I might just start sending them personally to find people to fill slots for huddle calls starting January. Like I said, there will be a printed calendar. And I totally agree. Jake and I were talking, and she says she loves when there's 2 calls a day. She feels like she gets that momentum going, and then you've got all the follow-up and stuff. So please, if you see somebody signed up and you're like, oh, I really wanted to do a call on Tuesday, and somebody's already on that, don't worry about it. You do you. You do the time that you really want to do. Because that time's needed. I don't care if it's 3 times a day, because no time is perfect for everybody. And I'm not even worried if you only have 1 person show up on your call, and every once in a while life happens and you might be the only person on the call, or you can show up and you have 7 people on the call. It's just fascinating to me, you know, just different times. I think this last Saturday morning, there were a bunch of people on the call. The Saturday morning before that, there were none. So it's just kind of, I never want you to feel like it's you or the time you picked. It's just what's ever happening in other people's lives at that time. And the other thing I just want to pull out, and if I don't put this out, please remind me, is those of you who started putting out reminders, hey, I'm doing a call at such and such time today. I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. I can't have that fall on me every day to be looking up, and then I got names wrong. People need to hear from you that it's you, because that's much more engaging to, hear, oh my gosh, did you see Kirsten just posted, she's going to do a call. So that's something I would like to become part of that person's responsibility, that they advertise their call, they send reminders for the call. And it's not about being perfect. It's just, hopefully you'll remember. I tried to remember, but you see, I failed too. So anyway, I really appreciate all of the ideas. I've got a lot of things written down here. I'll start working on that. And I'm excited for 2020. Go ahead, Kirsten.
The only thing I would add is, I'll apologize in advance, because my My husband said that he will shred with me as soon as I get my act together and get organized. You know, my calendar, my contacts, my emails, they're a disaster. I don't delete anything off of my phone. And so he said, as soon as I get this, you know, cleaned up, he's all in. So I got to work really hard to do that. So there's already a place where this exists. I apologize in advance, but Central, if there's a way that we can help you, take our like Facebook page, or, you know, if there's a place where we can kind of like I don't even know if it's I don't want to add another element, but like a Google Drive or something like that, where we have our calendar of events and our whatever, so that if we are hosting a call, we can kind of link back to that. So like if we have a main calendar that you publish as our leader, right, that then if I post it, like I can link back to that calendar. So if somebody says, shoot, I can't join Kirsten Saturday morning at 8, but when's the next call? You know what I'm saying? So we can kind of continue to drive that and post all of our recommended events that we attend or something like that. And so, I mean, if one of us needs to step up and help with that, you know, or a couple of us, by all means, maybe it already exists somewhere and we can just all help contribute to make it more efficient. You know, I have a cheat sheet that I made on my journal. That's the first page where I'm like, what recommended websites, recommended materials, recommended whatnot. So anyway, that central little bulletin board, that's our kind of our go-to dashboard, if you will. I don't want to hire someone to build a website, but you know what I mean?
I know, it's like wanting a website, and we have to be careful because they really do want us to use things like thefreedomrevolution.com and things, but I love the idea of having a calendar instead of thumbing, you know, scrolling through Facebook, Team Ignite, trying to say, where's that calendar? What is it this year? I mean, I can still post it there, but then having a live document where you could add huddle calls or just pull it up. I love that. And yeah, let me write that down too.
I could probably set something like that up, Susie, through Google, and then just link everybody to it. It doesn't take that long, and I could totally do it. I've got time, so.
And I'm happy to help you too, because even, you know, we've done a lot of collecting awesome information, and the only like heart fluttering I get is, oh my gosh, how am I going to remember where to find this next time? And so taking all of our great tools would help ignite all of us to be more efficient, you know, so having a place to centralize that, we could all, anyone that has a particular passion in a particular area could be the content editor of whatever documents you're going to put out there on a Google Drive. That would be really cool.
Yeah, let me totally look into that. I would start with a calendar, and then we'll go from there, because they really want us to simplify. So I hesitate taking more tools and stuff off. You know, we'll see what they end up with ultimately. But I love that you have your cheat sheets. And Bobby, I might be getting with you. That could be a good.
Also, I have time on Friday morning. I can do a huddle call at like 11. If anybody wants to.
11 o'clock Central?
Yep. So it'll be 10 o'clock Mountain and 12 o'clock.
I can do one tomorrow morning.
Okay, I'll put that out. What time do you want to be, Jake?
I can do 10 tomorrow, Central.
10 Central. Okay. I've been posting just everything in Central because to me, everybody can just kind of move an hour, depending if you're Mountain or Eastern. Then, okay, that's awesome. All right, I love this because also I see people working right to the end. Even if you work an hour a day, it's amazing what we get done in an hour a day. So, and let's all right now just put some energy out like this to Kirsten to say, Kirsten, you got to get on Team Z.
Oh, you're not on Team Z yet?
No.
Oh my gosh, no wonder you're feeling disorganized.
Okay, all right.
It's a 30-day free trial.
Yeah, put that out there as the top of your list, and
I've
clear up so many things.
I've been waiting until going back to my husband's comments about my contacts, you don't even want to know how disorganized they are. And so I've been
Teams will help you organize them.
Okay, so I've been not doing it because I feel like I have to have all that organized before
Teams
will help. It's backwards. When you get it, then you'll be more organized.
I am not allowed back on the call until I'm on Teams.
So
you know what? Nobody can talk to Kirsten until she's on Teams.
That's right.
Kirsten, I'm
you
going
have been banned. You are just exiled.
I'm going to give Eric Johnson your phone number. He would.
He would too.
Okay. Okay.
He'd call you and say, "What's the problem here?"
Oh my gosh. Paralysis by analysis. That's the problem, right?
Yeah, that's
You're
it.
gonna be
It's
so glad
better.
that you got
It's
it set
better to
up.
just take a step and not be perfect than try to analyze it all. Just do it. Do it.
You're gonna be so glad you did it. You're gonna be kicking yourself. Why did I wait so long?
Yeah. Okay. Nobody's talking to you anymore.
Okay, sorry, we can't. I'm gonna mute her. We can't.
You have a Merry Christmas, and we love you, but that's it. That's all for you.
All
I'm
right.
so glad everybody could come to me today and watch one teammate be exiled. So, well, I hope if you guys can join Jake at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, do that. That'll be exciting. If not, please do have a wonderful Christmas with your family. And then I'll also put out that Bobby will do 11 o'clock on Friday. And let's just stay in touch. And thanks so much for all the feedback. And I was so happy that everybody could give me such great feedback today. It's super helpful. So, all right. Bye. I'll see you tomorrow.